After 1967, there were two maps of settlements or colonization. There was a strategic map that was devised by the left in Israel. And the father of this map was the late Yigal Allon, who was the main strategist, together with Moshe Dayan in 1967, for how to control the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. And their principle was strategic, not so much ideological, although they believed that the West Bank belonged to Israel. They were more interested in making sure that Jews do not settle in densely populated Arab areas. So they said everywhere where Palestinians don't live in a concentrated way, we can settle. So they started with the Jordan Valley, because as you know, the Jordan Valley, there are small villages, but it's not dense. And in other parts. The problem for them was that at the same time that they drew the strategic map, a new messianic religious movement emerged, Gush Emunim, a religious national movement of Jews who didn't want to settle according to the strategic map. They wanted to settle according to the biblical map. They had the idea that the Bible is a book that tells you exactly where were the ancient Jewish cities. And as it happens, that map meant that Jews should settle in the midst of Nablus, the midst of Halil, in Bethlehem, in the midst of Palestinian areas. So at first, the government was trying to control this biblical settlement, if I can call it this way, and try to convince them just to settle strategically. But as several Israeli journalists have shown, it was Shimon Peres, as a minister of defense, who in the early 70s, because of his rivalry with Rabin, who decided to allow also the biblical settlement. So now the Palestinians in the West Bank were exposed to two maps of colonization. Now, as for your remark about the international community, I think, first of all, the international community understands that according to international law, it doesn't matter whether it's a strategic settlement, whether the Israelis call it neighborhood, or whether they call it a biblical settlement. They're all illegal. They're totally illegal. Not one of them is legal. What is, of course, interesting is, and unfortunate, that the international community from 1967 accepted the Israeli formula that says it's illegal, but it's temporary. Namely, once there is peace, we will make sure that everything will be legal. But as long as there's no peace, we need the settlements because we are still at war with the Palestinians. And then they use this idea whenever there was a terror attack that they retaliate by building another settlement. And the international community until today accepts that there will be first peace and then maybe dismantling of settlements. Whereas, although this is already too late, what should have been done, but now it's too late anyway, you first dismantle the settlements. You first take the Israeli troops out of the West Bank, and then you start negotiations. But now it doesn't matter, I think, because the settlements are so part of the map that we have to look for a different political solution anyway. I don't think the two-state solution is valid anymore.